of interest, especially to members who maybe haven't been on a committee for a long time. But at some point, we have to recognize that we've got a question of Native people and individual circumstances in members' districts. Now, one of the interesting things about being on this committee is so many people on it, among other reasons for asking to be on the committee and being placed on the committee, is the multiplicity of issues that different members face and the different challenges in their own particular districts with regard to Native people. And virtually everyone, and so the thing I love, Mr. Chairman, about this committee is it is the most complicated committee in the Congress. There's just no question about it. What I mean by complicated, not necessarily that the issues are that hard to grasp, but what I mean is the infinite varieties of circumstances surrounding an issue like, shall we build a road or not? Or who's got the rights regarding water? Shall there be a royalty connected with extraction of minerals from public land? These kinds of things, which on the surface, well, we'll write a law, we'll figure all this out, we'll have some legislation, it'll handle everything, and it doesn't. It's a little bit, I'll draw you the parallel, which is immigration law. I mean, every single case, and I deal with it all the time, I have people whose entire job specifically is deal with immigration in my office. And even though we have a myriad of laws, every single case that comes in is unique. Every single one has unique properties to it that are not subject to just general propositions. And the reason I go through this preliminary here is that when you take a look at what this is all about, first of all, my first thing is to say, whatever they want to do in their district. Why are we involved in this? Now, I grant you there's some elements here about, endangered species that we need to take into account, or wetlands. I mean, there are some general propositions and principles. But my principal motivation, and all that taken into account, I know what I need in Hawaii with regard to Native people. And it really, I want to be collegial about it, but at a certain point, I feel like saying, look, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And even if you got a semi-clue as to what you're talking about, this, of course, is not personal, Mr. Chairman. Even if you got a semi-clue as to what you're talking about, the circumstances are unique to us, and we're trying to work this out. And the fundamental principle, then, beyond all this, it has to do with Native people. Now, I've got circumstances that are utterly unique in my district. It's what's called ceded lands. And again, for some of the new members, if you're interested, I will give you a 45-minute lecture on land tenure in Hawaii, starting with the kingdom, and then going to the Shotgun Republic, the territory, and finally the state of Hawaii, including the Emissions Act. Any of you who would like to sign up for this short course can see me after the session. But that said, believe me, the Native people, they figure, once more, somebody's coming in to tell us what to do about something that we want to get done in our land. And in this particular instance, there's been compromise and all the rest of it. The other part of it is, legislative compromise. So I don't think that we're in virgin territory here. The other element is that I'm going to say 99%, I don't know, 999% of you are never going to come and deal with ceded lands in Hawaii. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with tourism. It's got nothing to do with wilderness. It's got nothing to do with abstract ideas about what constitutes the wilderness or what constitutes respect for the planet or something like that. It has to do with what the people who live in that area, who are generations in that area, want to do, and the fact that there are people living there. Now, I don't know why the hell they're living there. I mean, I said to Don Young and to the people who came into my office, for full disclosure, I said, let me get this straight. I said, the name of the Cold Cove, right? King Cove, but Cold Camp or whatever. Cold Bay, that's what I mean. I said, let me ask you something. I said, we're talking about Alaska, and this is something called Cold Bay, as opposed to what? If you're in Alaska and something is so cold that it's called Cold Bay, you know, is it colder than other bays or something? I mean, what the hell are you out there? No, that's ordinarily the question, you know. No, people say, well, you know, why are you in Honolulu? I mean, that should be self-evident. But having been born in Buffalo, right? I mean, I'm short, not slow. So the fact of the matter is that you're dealing with people for whom this is home, for whom this is their native land, for whom this is the area that they have committed themselves and their family to, and they're living there. They're entitled then, it seems to me, on the basis that that native people and the whole cultural antecedents that are there speak to the question of how then do they deal with the contemporary realities of communication and being able to get together. If in fact it's impassable for 2/3 of the years, what's that tell you? What's the real danger to the environment? What's the real danger? What fundamental principle is at stake here that's going to be so violated that we can't vote for this? They want when they got the road, I said, well, you know, is it going to be that expensive, you know, with the asphalt and everything? They said, oh, there's no asphalt. We're talking about gravel. I said, what, are you kidding? This is not I mean, we calling this a road? I mean, it's like a path with gravel on it, and then they're going to put up barriers. Am I right, Don? They're going to put up, what do you call it, barriers? Cables or something. To do what? Who in the hell is going to drive off the road? You got four-wheel vehicles. I mean, you're up to your eyeballs in muck. It's a wetlands. It's for birds and little animals and some big animals. Not for two-legged biped nitwits who are going to go off the road. I mean, if they're drunk, I suppose they can drive off the road. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. What harm is all this? So this, to satisfy some abstract idea for somebody who lives in Seattle or in Honolulu or in New Orleans or Milwaukee or wherever the hell we're from, to worry about whether they're going to have this road and actually have a vote on it, to me, in the end, this is where we get into the idiot stage of politics. I take that back, Mr. Chairman. You're voting no, right?
Gentleman's time has expired.
Yeah. But what I mean by that is, again, nothing personal. What I'm saying is we shouldn't be having. We shouldn't be having. Because this don't apply to a lot of other stuff. And I think I've been consistent in that. If a member comes up to me and says, look, this is unique circumstances in our district, very seldom do I find myself in a position of having to vote against it or thinking that I should. I'm very reluctant to do that. And I think we should be. I think we should trust the members here and trust the members that when it comes to their districts, I'm not asking to violate the Endangered Species Act. I don't think that's happening or some other fundamental law. On the contrary. It seems to me that these folks are very much aware of it. They've worked very, very hard to try to be in conformance with the laws and with the intent of the law. And I would ask people to vote in favor of this and to strike a blow for sensitivity and sensibleness in legislation.
The gentleman's time is